Good evening, YouTube. Today it is Thursday, the 6th of July. I'm just heading back to the depot at High Wycombe after a day of pretty much constant driving. It's been an interesting day. I'm going to give you a general ramble today about some of the things I've learnt. Not going to go into a lot of detail because I'm quite tired. But let me start off with telling you what happened after I finished the video yesterday. So I have updated the stats on the video for yesterday to reflect what I ended up doing. And after I got to Livingston, I got unloaded and then made my way for the hour's journey north to Perth. And I got to Perth. Oh, this hill's not doing my van very well. I got to Perth and it was quite light. It's about 5:30, and I got loaded up with my items from that pickup. Now, my plan then was to get as far south as I could that night, and then drop off, do another pickup today at St Albans, and then drop those off at the High Wycombe depot today, and then just see how the day went from there. So last night I made it as far as Penrith, and I tramped on the road that sort of runs adjacent to the M6 north of Penrith. There's a few nice laybys there, and I tramped out, fell asleep quite quickly. I had a really good sleep. And that was the end of that day. It was a lot of driving, but I got, a long way towards my Penrith St Albans job being done. So this morning I woke up at about, my alarm was set for 6:05. That did wake me up, and then I kind of dozed for a bit. I ended up getting out of bed at 7:20. And getting on the road about half an hour, 20 minutes later. And I made my way from Penrith south towards St Albans. And along the way, I was looking for potential co-load opportunities just to maximise my income. I had plenty of space in my van, a long way to go. And I had a look, and I've been on 3 jobs this morning. So the first job I bid on was from Blackburn to Tilbury, which came onto the feed at 9:15. I didn't get that. I bid £180. It was for a small van job. I bid then on a Blackburn to Wolverhampton job, £80 for a small van. I didn't get that either. And then I bid on a Bury to Aylesbury job, £100, and I did get that one. And that was a car job. So I really wasn't sure what I should bid for car jobs. Now, the number of miles on the CX system for it was 178.5 miles. And I bid £100. Just, it was a round number. I thought it'd be a handy amount of money to have. It was going in my direction. I had time, I thought, to pick up my load in St Albans and then go across to Aylesbury and then High Wycombe. So yeah, I put on the notes I was co-loading, and I put on the bid. I got a call back from a really nice guy. He was really softly spoken, really quietly spoken, and it really calmed me down. He talked really kind of softly, and it made me sort of follow his lead. And he was really kind of, really nice, really professional, informative. We had a bit of a chat. I asked him what should I be pricing car jobs at, and I found his answer to be really interesting. From his point of view, and he's a very experienced job giver, he was saying he prices them the same. He would price them as the same as a small van because the running costs are about the same, and there's not really much difference. The only reason why he would call something a car job was to indicate to the driver that it was a very small package. And what I had was a very small package. It was a box I put on the seat next to me. And I learned that, so I thought, yeah, okay, fair enough. Next time I do bid on car jobs, I'll just treat them like a small van. So we had a bit of a chat about things. Oh, excuse me. And I made my way to pick up his load from Bury. I was about 45 minutes away. It had to be picked up by 10:40, and I was due to arrive at 20 past 10. So I didn't have to rush to collect it. I picked up this box, made my way initially towards St Albans, but then when I worked out it was still a good 4 hours to St Albans, and that I wouldn't get there in time to then get across to Aylesbury to deliver the box, I decided to go straight to deliver the box, which was what I put on the notes on Deliver Direct, and I'd have to go to Aylesbury afterwards, and then back to High Wycombe. So although my mileage was a bit extra, I wasn't going to be late for the box. I did get delayed on the way down on the M6. There's an accident and lots of traffic building up. I couldn't really find a way around it. I had to go down the M6 onto the M5 around the bottom of Birmingham to get to Aylesbury. So by the time I got to Aylesbury, it was just before, it was about 10 to 3, and the deadline for this delivery was 3 o'clock. I had called the office and said that I would be about 3 o'clock because of the delay in the M6, because I did say originally I'd be there about 2:30, but obviously I was late because of the traffic. So I let them know, and they were fine with that. So I got that quickly off my van and then made my way towards St Albans, and it was about 55 minutes journey, and traffic was okay, but it was a bit of a trudge. And I got to St Albans, and then there was nothing to pick up. And I did do my best to sort of make sure they'd checked everything and asked the relevant people, but there was nothing. So I got to sign my form saying nothing to pick up, and then made my way back to High Wycombe to offload. And that was when I got to High Wycombe at about just before 5 o'clock. That was then my Perth St Albans trip done, and I haven't yet told you my stats for that, have I? So the mileage on the system is 461 miles for that trip, and I charged £550, 550, for the mileage, the handballing and the 2 stops. When I got to High Wycombe, before I got there, I did contact my regular shipper, and I told her that I wanted to do the Liverpool trip on Monday, because I realised that on Monday morning I've got to take my daughter's boxes back up to her in Manchester. So rather than me trying to rush around and fit in the 3 remaining jobs I've got to do from this shipper, if I could just delay that one till Monday, I'd be up there anyway, so it would be perfect. And as I expected, it was fine. So I've only got to do 2 more routes this week, and those routes are Worcester pickup, Tewkesbury pickup and Gloucester pickup, and that's for £165. The mileage on there is basically 100 miles. And my other one is 2 central London pickups and a pickup in just south of London. It's Chiswick, and for that one. This is the one that I mentioned last week that I'd priced differently because it was a London job. And the way I priced this one was I thought, how long is it going to take me? I didn't know for sure. There's quite a lot of handballing in the London ones. The mileage is only 32 miles on the system. That means nothing. So for 3 pickups in central London with quite a lot of handballing, I thought about £200. But then I thought, oh wait there, don't forget the congestion charge. And what if you misjudge it? So I made it 225, which I thought was not quite a whole day's pay. It's kind of 3/4 of a day's pay, I would say, that I want to earn. And it's going to be mainly for the hassle than actually. And there's some effort involved. There's a lot of time involved, but not a lot of mileage. So I put that quote in of 225. That was accepted. So I feel much better now that I've kind of judged correctly the London pickup price. I've yet to do it, so we'll find out how I feel about it when I do it. Now, my plan when I got to High Wycombe was then, what do I do now? So it's 5 o'clock today, I had lots of day left, and I had to fit in 2 more routes this week. So I decided that I would avoid London for today and head off towards Worcester. So I went from High Wycombe to Worcester, then to Tewkesbury, then to Gloucester, picking up, and I'm now on my way back to High Wycombe to finish off my day, having picked up my second route of the 3 I'm going to do this week. Now I did dead mile it from High Wycombe to Worcester. I didn't even look for jobs because it was gone 5 o'clock. It's such a niche journey. It's only about an hour and a half, so it was about 80 miles roughly. I just did as dead miles, and the way I justified it for myself was because I picked up the co-load coming down from Scotland. That kind of will hold my pence per mile this week. And I was more concerned about fitting it in terms of time than maximising the money. So I'm going to give you some stats based on when I get back to the depot, what I would have done today, and it's going to look pretty good. Okay. So, first of all, the number of hours worked. Today it will be 14 3/4 hours. I will have driven 536 miles today. I did fill up. Oh yeah, I'll tell you about the fill up in a moment. I made a mistake. But my average price for fill ups this week is 14.89 pence. And so, because of that mileage, today I spent £79.80 on fuel. My gross earnings though are £550 that I did to finish off the Perth St Albans job, and the £100 co-load from Bury to Aylesbury, and that's a total of £650, 650. And to be fair, I've picked up all of my second route. I just won't get it unloaded today. So the 165 that I've picked up for this route will be on tomorrow's money. And so after fuel, I've earned £570, 570 today. So well over target for my 2 days. And I'm going to be over target tomorrow as well. All I've got to do tomorrow is unload this. I'm going to tramp outside the depot, unload this load, and then get myself to central London and back. I've got all day to do it, and that'll give me a total gross earnings of £390. So I won't be paying it much on fuel, so I can dead mine back home and still have made the money. So I'm hopefully going to have a reasonably easy day tomorrow. So what I'm going to do, I did have today quite a lot of information I was going to give you about something I've done in my life in the last year or so. that I thought it was time to share with you. But because I'm quite tired and it will make the video quite long, I'm going to do that tomorrow when I'm hopefully fresher, and I will go through the things I want to tell you about how I see the world. For today, I just want to pick up on a few small bits and pieces and then bring this video to a close. So the first thing is, I have, over the last 24 hours, gained 6 more subscribers. So thank you to you 6 people. I've now got 62 people who subscribe to this channel. I'm really grateful. I'm so pleased that you choose to sort of do that. It's like I see it as a vote of confidence that I'm doing the right thing. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. The next thing was my mistake with the fuel card. Well, yeah, the fuel. And it's a bit of a niggle. And I want to say this as an example because for several reasons. One, if you're new to this, you might be able to avoid this mistake, or at least not worry if you make the same mistake. Secondly, it's a bit of a niggle. Why is it like this? I mean, it's a bit of a complaint. And thirdly, it's something it's one of the downs of today. So I'd like to tell you the ups and the downs. Today has been a really good day. I am quite tired right now, so I'm not necessarily enthusing in my voice. But I feel really satisfied with the day's work I've done today. I feel it's been a good day. And so the thing I'm going to say hasn't spoiled today. It's just been one little hiccup that I'd like to share with you. So it's about fuel. So I tend to run my fuel down quite low because I've got a couple of fuel cards, and today I got it down effectively to 3 miles to go, because I was just too busy getting stuff unloaded and going to the next place. It was always going to be the next thing I do, the next thing I do, the next thing I do. And so I ended up stopping at Oxford Services on the way to Worcester. And I used my Keyfuels app to find which garages have Keyfuels. And I turned up, and usually I go to the office with my fuel card and I just double check with them, can I use this fuel card with you? Because I have in the past been stung when I haven't been able to use it. But for the last couple of weeks, I've done that every time and it's always been fine. So for today I didn't bother doing that, I just filled up. And I noticed as I was filling up that the Keyfuels sticker on the pump had quite a faint but a distinct by roads cross through it. And it said HGV only. So I stopped filling up, but by this time I put in £50 worth. And I realised it's one of those garages where, although the app says you can get Keyfuels, you can only do it if you're a truck, a lorry. You can theoretically go and fill up with diesel from the truck pumps and pay for it with your Keyfuels card. I have merrily tried to do that in the past, and the counter guy didn't tell me, because they didn't know, that the pump nozzles are too big for vans, so you can't fill up at the HGV pumps. So I trudged into the kiosk. I said, I can't use my Keyfuels cards here, can I? And they said cheerfully, oh, you can go to the HGV bits. I said, no, I can't. I just paid with my debit card. And the price of that fuel was, again, a second mistake. I got a receipt, and I thought I'll look on the receipt how much fuel I've put in and how much it costs. I didn't bother looking at the actual pump when I was doing it, and I actually didn't have it on the receipt. Didn't have any price or how much I used. So I had to guess from my spreadsheet. I guessed, I think, a reasonably close amount. I've guessed it was £1.73. I guessed about 34 litres in. That comes to £50. So I put in quite expensive fuel this afternoon. It's not a fuel tank. I've got a quarter of a tank left. It'll get me to High Wycombe certainly. It'll get me to London and back. It's only about 60 miles. So it might even get me home tomorrow. So I'm not going to necessarily fill up again this week. So yeah, a bit annoying that I went to a Keyfuels garage and couldn't use my fuel cards. Off the back of that, I have a question. I use the apps that were recommended to me by Keyfuels and by UK Fuels, and I think they're both pretty poor apps, particularly this day and age. And I wonder, does anyone know, is there like an independent app that will tell you for all the fuel cards where the stations are, so I can have one app for any fuel card that I've got, and one that's preferably a bit more modern and a bit more useful. So that's a bit of a request if you know anything like that. The other thing I want to say is I was reflecting today on the shipper I spoke to from my co-load, and he said he'd been doing the job for 35 years. And I was thinking, that's interesting. I tend to focus all my thinking and effort on someone who's new to this job. And a lot of the YouTube channels, for obvious reasons, focus on people who are inexperienced, because it's a really good resource for people who are new to the logistics industry. But I was thinking, there must be quite a lot of people out there who have been doing this job for 20, 30, maybe even 40 years. And maybe people out there listening to this video who are like that. And maybe who are retired and have done it for that period of time. And I just thought, I've been thinking today about those people. And thinking, I wonder if there's anyone who watches these videos now or in the future who's not cynical about the industry, who's actually still loves the job and finds it interesting and exciting still. It would be really good to know if there's any of you out there who have got loads of experience, have seen it change, and are still kind of, with it. I as I said in my first videos, used to be a teacher. Teaching has changed so much. It's different to when I did it. And technology's come in over those sort of 20, 30, 40 years. So logistics may not have changed as a job too much. It might have done, I don't know. But I'm sure the technology has made it more efficient, maybe. It's definitely made it more accessible to more people. So yeah, if you've got any thoughts about the industry from a very experienced point of view, and I'm really looking at people here who are still enthused, who aren't cynical about it, who are kind of, who still have a positive attitude towards the industry. It'd be interesting to hear what you have to say. Let's see if I've written anything else down. Yeah, just the one thing left. A bit of advice that I was given by that experienced shipper, which I thought, yeah, I remember that. I had a conversation at my pickup with the person who's giving me the load, and he was really surprised about why it was going same day, and was asking a few questions. Well, he wasn't asking questions; he was kind of saying stuff, and I think he was hoping that I would fill in the gaps. I was just trying to sort of be quite nondescript and just sort of be polite. And I fed this back to the shipper, and his advice was, as a driver, just be dumb. Just stay under the radar, just get in and out without causing any sort of, without sort of talking too much. And I thought, yeah, I think that's very sensible advice. So I'm sharing that with you out there. I'm going to remember the word dumb as I approach every collection point, and remember, just be a silent, polite entity. Okay, that's the end of the things I want to talk to you about today. I will go into some depth tomorrow about the thing that I want to talk to you about. Thank you very much for listening to my video. What have you learned today?